Welcome to One Woman Preach. This podcast exists to amplify the voices of AAPI and Latino woman faith leaders at the pulpits and in public square. This podcast was created and is hosted by Isaac, the innovative space for Asian American Christianity, and is made possible by Lilly Endowment. My name is Young Lee Hertig. Our guest today is Diana L. Shing, Pastoral Lab LA cohort alumna and former project manager, and she now has exciting adventure. So we can't wait to hear about her update and her new initiative after she left Isaac as a project manager at the end of May this year. So welcome, Diana.
Thank you, Yang. It's so good to be here, and thank you for having me.
This podcast invitation I extended to you is to learn about your exciting new adventure and to promote that so that many other AAPI woman faith leaders can benefit from your new startup company.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, it's been a wonderful couple months, but it has been a journey in the making. I feel like as I've been reflecting, really, this is God showing me that coaching has been a lot of my own journey, and it comes from that place. So I do feel that a lot of my passion for meeting with people and coaching is realizing that there's more to people than the surface. There's more than what you see.
You announced to me not long ago you launched your new startup. So tell us about the name and the mission and all 9 yards. And then we'll dive into what processes led you to this point in your life.
Yeah, so I launched my own coaching business. It's my name, Diana L. Shing Coaching, and my heart is to see Christians living fully in their identity and God-given purpose. And that has been something I started right June 1st, and it's been a wonderful journey so far. I am currently in coaching credential class with the Professional Christian Coaching Institute, and that's been really wonderful. I find one-on-one coaching has been really life-giving for me. And
you've been saying that you would love to meet up with women of faith one-on-one.
yeah.
And in such a short span of time, you already have paid clients.
Yes, God has really surprised me. I mean, when I came into this, God, I want to meet with people. Coaching sounds like the place to do it. But I hear that it takes 6 months to a year to even get started, to maybe even have your first paying client. So, all right, God, I'll just trust you and do my part. But really, it's been this journey of realizing that the passion has been there all along. I think coaching is just the outlet, but realizing that I've always found people need a space to really explore what's going on under the surface of their lives. I think we, especially Asian Christians, I think we are go, 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 busy, and don't take the time to realize the feelings we feel, the burnout, the feelings of shame or frustration or fear. I think there's a lot of level of performance or quick to keep our lives busy, that I think when you give people the space to explore what's really going on inside, there's so much you realize that is going on, for a person. And I think I've learned that a lot of people, they may have a goal, they may not know what to do in their lives, they may have a plan that has been kind of covered under years of busy ministry or raising children, but underneath it all, the real hindrance is their own limiting beliefs, their own self-defeating thoughts, their own mindset, their own inability to see beyond what they can see in the surface. So coaching, I've seen, has given them a space to really, in a safe place where I'm not, it's non-judgmental, it's confidential, it's safe. They feel safe to share the things that they don't normally even know that's going on. And I found that to be really sacred space that's guided by the Holy Spirit. And I've seen in a short time breakthroughs happening. People getting aha moments, or, oh, I never realized that I could do this, or I didn't know that I was feeling this way. Or a person I recently was coaching, she said she finally realized that her real hidden fear was from a previous trauma years ago, and she had never even known those were connected.
Mm-hmm.
So I have found that, especially for people who don't normally have a space like that to share, you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And until you reflect and realize what is hindering you, you can't really move forward in your life. And I've seen the power of giving people that space. So that's been really exciting for me.
It's so life-giving, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
And you have all the gift sets as to what it takes to cheer on people. And yeah, congratulations. So, you know, when did you make such a pivotal decision? What
Hmm.
prompted you? At what point? Finally, it dawned on you.
It was really when I turned 40. It was really right at that 40-year birthday that I started to ask, okay, I turned this milestone birthday, a mid-year moment, midlife moment. What am I supposed to do with my life? What is God calling me to? I know it was very clear for me that I felt called to full-time ministry. That never was in question. It just, I never knew how that looked. I really have always felt passionate about the one-on-one and small group, because I find that's always where depth and growth comes. So I always had a heart for discipleship. I actually heard these questions from uh, a meeting that we had with Glenn. Well, he was just sharing the three kind of questions that kind of come up for people when you think about like your vocation. What are you passionate about? What are you good at? And what are the needs in the world? And he said it as like an off comment during one of our meetings, but I thought, oh, that really resonated with me. And I wrote it down, and I began praying and pondering, like, okay, what am I passionate about? What am I good at? What are the needs in the world? And from forming those questions and praying and thinking about my life, it really came to, I've shared this with you in the past, is I think there's a real need for integration of spiritual, emotional, not just those two, but in some ways, I think in the church, in my own Christian journey, there's been such an emphasis on just the spiritual things, praying, reading, worship, serving, fellowship, and those are good. But I think it was my own journey of finally realizing, oh, there's more to me than just what I do for Jesus. There's
Mm-hmm.
more to me than just going to church and serving. There's a whole depth of emotion, feelings, fear, longing, desire that I don't think I had an outlet. And I even felt like there was a room in the church to talk about. So in some ways, I feel like it's just compartmentalized.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's such a need to talk about those things. I mean, when you're dealing with anxiety or anger or fear or shame, and you don't feel like you can really share that in church, you don't really know how you can even come to the Lord with that, maybe by how you've been shaped, then what do you do but just avoid or don't talk or stuff? And then that's not a good outlet for who you are. And it was my own journey of my own personal growth that I grew closer to Jesus when I finally realized, oh, he actually doesn't just care about me being a good checklist Christian. He cares about all of me. And that was my own journey of, I had gone through different workshops and trainings in my own life of being very sensitive and emotional and reflective, that I realized Jesus cares about all of me. You know, it sounds like such a simple revelation, but in my life, he cares about the fact that I'm hurt and angry and not just that I'm serving him and reading my Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That was revolutionary for me as an Asian. That felt like it's an emphasis of my upbringing on performance and how good are you doing and how good are you serving. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the need for integration has been my biggest passion of how can we allow Christians to feel accepted for their whole being.
Mm-hmm.
And that encompasses the good, the bad feelings that we feel. And I think we label them unintentionally. So I found that my passion for helping people see that Jesus cares about our heart, mind. He tells us to love him with our heart, our mind, our soul. And so there's a whole inner life that I think I realize is rich and needing to have a space within the church with other Christians that can be heard, that can be validated, that can be accepted, that can bring healing. And so I think, and what I felt like I was good at was I really love people. I love
Mm-hmm.
seeing people grow into the fullness of what God has for them. And I think people feel safe when they talk to me because I genuinely am curious. I genuinely want to have them feel heard and
Mm-hmm.
seen.
You love people, people love you.
Mm.
That really comes through as you genuinely love people and care about them. So this is a little bit more logistical question. Do you do online, and do you also meet up with people in person? And
Mm.
how long is a session?
Yeah. So right now I've been doing all virtual. So I find that being online is really helpful because I'm able to cross time zones. I'm able to
Right.
meet with people. I have some clients I've never actually met in person. So I meet online. I'm not opposed to meeting in person. I haven't really had that be something that someone's asked me for, but I'd be willing to if they wanted to. It's mostly been 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that in terms of how frequent, I do have one client I meet with weekly,
Mm-hmm.
some that I meet with bi-weekly and some monthly. And depending on what they want to address, I
Mm-hmm.
really do find the ones I meet with more frequently, you can go obviously deeper a little quicker. It's one of those relationships that you may realize long term feels like you can go a little further. You can go deeper. You can't really do much with someone in like 1 or 2 sessions.
Did you ask them how they found out this brand new venture?
You know, when I launched, basically what I did was I just sent out a flyer to my network and just said,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I just want to share this is what I'm up to. So I feel God putting on my heart. Um, I'm starting out. So I just would love for you to spread the word or let me know if you have questions. I was really wanting people just to get on the phone. And I think a lot of things with what I've learned about coaching is there is a need to educate. Not everyone may know what coaching is or how
Mm-hmm.
it's different than counseling or how it's different than consulting. So I find that a lot of people might need to be educated first. So I tried my best to make myself available to say I love to talk with you more, answer any questions, explain the difference. And so mostly were from people that knew me, and then my other ones came from referrals from people who knew me. One was from church, and one was from school, my daughter's school. So those really surprised me because It was somebody who has only really known me at school pickup and drop off. And she herself is not a Christian, but just through our everyday conversation, when it kind of came up naturally for me to tell her I was doing this as a
Mm-hmm.
job, she was, oh, I want to refer someone to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that really surprised me because I thought it would be for sure people who knew me deeply. But someone who knew me superficially said, oh, I can totally see that this would be a good fit for you and I'd love to refer. And she referred her family member to me. So that was really an
Special.
honor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really special because that I take that very seriously. So, but it really does feel like God because I think when I was picturing my clientele, I was picturing Asian American women, Asian American Christian women who were
Mm.
burnt out or feeling just overwhelmed, not really sure what God was doing in their life, seeking purpose. Just I was picturing this person, and I have all different age, ethnicity. I have a man,
Oh,
I
wow.
have I have
Wonderful.
yeah, I have people from different walks of life. S Two are retired, two are grandparents.
Whoa.
Um, yeah, a lot. There's not, I only have a few that are Asian. So it's been really showing me that God God brings the people he knows that he wants me to
You,
meet with.
we don't have to have tunnel vision in terms of who we reach.
Yeah.
Everybody needs coaching. So, what is it that you are learning from this coaching classes that you didn't learn from Isaac? You didn't learn from seminary?
You know, in some ways, I'm learning the power of it not being about me. um, like it's really valuable because I find that these coaching sessions are teaching me that really I can provide a space and we can invite the Holy Spirit. But and I can be, there are things I can do. I can be a really active, compassionate listener. I can ask really thoughtful questions. But the real work is not me telling them what to do with their life or me giving them great advice or expert opinion. The power of coaching is that through this space and through these questions and through reflection, they feel empowered on their own discovery to realize, oh, I I need to be doing this, or oh, I could stop doing this. And they actually say in one of my classes that brain science proves that you you don't do well making change when you're told what to do. You know, you
Exactly.
resist, you're defensive. But it's when you learn on your own through this safe, empathetic space of someone and another person. Sometimes you can't really get there on your own mind.
Hmm.
Having someone there to reflect back to you what you're saying, being able to gently challenge or guide the goals in your life. I have found it really, the work is not anything that I can do for them. It's giving them that space, giving them suggestions, but ultimately it's the work is falls on them. And that's been really empowering for both me and for them because you see that sometimes, I have had coaches who feel that it's important to suggest more, but then they could become reliant on the coach or they don't really learn the lesson on their own. But I have
Hmm.
found for the people that I'm working with, the more that they find their own insight, the more they gain, the more likely they're willing to change. So that's been really, really a huge lesson of seeing God move in people's lives in that way.
You know, Catholics use the word accompaniment. As I'm listening to what you have been doing, is you are accompanying people and providing them space and deep listening and maybe even asking questions they've never raised before. So, life changing experiences that as you experience from your clients And as a result, you are emboldened and you are even reassured that this has been what you've been waiting for.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. And I'm so grateful that you get a chance to hear this because in some ways, when I think about my life, I do see that administrative gifts carry me to any role, so all those gifts come in handy, but it's truly that one-on-one impact that I feel like I'm seeing. That to me is the most exciting, rewarding, is that kind of relational trust, relational impact. This one client that I have, who is one that I've never met in person, we've had 5 or 6 sessions now, and she recently told me, like, I love you. And it was really touching because I really don't feel like I'm doing anything, but at the same time I am. It's this beautiful rhythm of being in someone's life in a way that God is moving, and you have to just have the ability to be present to whatever God's doing for that person in that moment. You can't really prepare. You don't know what they're going to share. You can
Mhm.
you can know what they may tell you in advance, but really where the conversation goes, no one can really prepare for, not even the client.
What that client said about I love you means that person experienced God's love through you.
Mm,
So you are not absent. You are an instrument of God in their lives,
mm,
and God is using your sacred gift of accompaniment and your love for human being that comes through. So, I'm not surprised, and this is what you were born to do.
mm,
And all the other jobs you had, that's been preparatory phases and experiences for you to do this work. So, in summary, I hear you saying you have grown up very, performance driven, task driven culture, which is Asian American culture, and parenting involves
mm-hmm,
and centers on that. But I think I'm hearing from you that finally you found in coaching it's all about being and becoming.
mm,
And that's been missing in many people's lives in this very fast paced, economically demanding culture we live in. So creating that space to be and to become seem pretty sacred. And I can just assure you, you are born to do this work. And I'm sure
mm.
your family is so happy for you and they're cheering on you.
Yeah, it's really been wonderful because coaching skills are transferable. So I've been practicing on my husband and my kids, and I think it's for the better. When I realize coaching is really curiosity, asking thoughtful questions to get someone to help them move forward with wherever they think that would look like. I mean, they react so much differently than just being told what to do. So I do find that. And I wanted to also share something else I've learned is I've come to realize that, as I think about the future, so far I've seen almost a need for coaching in the church. The churches, at least that I've been a part of, have been really good at making disciples, sharing the gospel, bringing people into church, having them get connected and serving. But I do think there's a gap of being able to address a Christian's inner life in a way that they can really bring to the church and be able to feel cared for and not feel shame or not feel like this cannot be brought up. And I had a client, she comes to me just to talk about faith, as I am a Christian life coach. And in talking about her faith, she shared with me something that really gave me insight. She said that at my church right now, I feel alone. I don't feel like anybody cares about really, I don't feel like anyone's there to hear what's really going on in my life. And she said that, she pays for me as a coach because she's not getting that kind of care in her church. And she even asked this question, where is the pastoral care for my life
Inner life.
and her inner life? And when she said that, it really dawned on me, I would love to provide that. No, I can't provide that for everyone, but I would love to close that gap that
Mm-hmm.
people might feel. I want to be able to have, maybe one day, bring the coaching skills to the church. And I know some churches have different platforms. There's pastoral care and counseling and soul care, but I really see that need of offering for the church members a way for them to come as they are, share the things that are really burdening them in a way that they can grow closer to Jesus and their purposes, and to not be so separate. It doesn't have to be, oh, you
Yeah.
only see therapy
Mm-hmm.
for this and you go to discipleship for this, but integration of the whole person. That's what I'm really passionate about. If God leads me to do that alongside a church, then I would be really interested to see how that might work. And that recently came, and I was like, I think Young would really love to hear that. So I wanted to share that with you. That's something forming in my mind, in my heart.
So when you go to a therapist, there's a process. But when you go to church, I mean, therapists, they cannot talk about God. So
Mm-hmm.
they just process and ask questions and tell me more, kind of a thing. When you go to church, there's God talk, but there's no room for process.
Mm,
So integration of those two disconnected entities and having both processes and also God and this Christian coaching that you are doing is bringing those two separate worlds together. So, as you grow this business coaching ministry, I'm sure more opportunity will arise. So, for our listeners out there, Diana, how can they contact you?
yeah, thank you so much for that opportunity, Young. Right now I have a website. You can
That
go to
looks beautiful.
www.dianaelshingcoaching.com. I have a link there that you can reach out. I have my email, I have my contact information. But I would love to hear from anyone who just has questions about coaching, who might not be sure if coaching's for them. I would love to hear from any listener who's just curious. So, yeah, I think my email and my social media links are all connected to that site.
Awesome. So, anybody who wants to be coached and be accompanied by Diana L. Shing, please contact her. And in our August newsletter, we'll be also featuring her new venture she began. That's so life giving. Life is too short to do secondary mission, but
Mm,
devoting to your primary mission as to why God brought you to this world. When you do that, no matter how grueling that mission may be, you can be resilient and still navigate challenging obstacles and experience flourishing on this planet until God calls us home. So, Diana, my joy is seeing Pastoral Lab alumni getting ordained and
mm.
launching their own passionate mission and calling in life. I'm super excited for you and we'll continue our dialogue. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming in today.
Thank
Well, listeners out there, we exist to help AAPI women faith leaders and Latina faith leaders, I define preaching broadly. It's not just at the pulpit, it is also in public square, nonprofit world, spiritual directorship, coaching, you name it. Our world is waiting for such transformational tools and people who would accompany us when we are going through challenging moments. So, Diana, God bless you and your new mission, and can't wait to follow you as you expand your ministry. Thank you, everybody. You can reach When Women Preach podcast at info@isaacweb.org. Thank you for listening.